The BZA, this hearing of the Board of Building and Zoning Appeals is now called to order on May 18th at 6:32. I ask the recording secretary to please call the roll for attendance of members on the board.
Mr. Shelko?
Here.
Ms. Metzel?
Here.
Mr. Pilato?
Here.
Mr. Ferraro?
Here.
Also present is Chris Hall, our building inspector, zoning and building inspector. All persons in the audience are required to sign in the registration sheet, which I take it you did. Okay, if you have not done so already, please do so. If you wish to speak at the hearing, you'll be required to be sworn in as in any court hearing. If anyone has any, we're going to go to the minutes from last meeting. Has everybody been able to review them? Anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you. All persons wishing to speak on the issue will please raise their right hand and affirm this oath. If anybody's speaking this evening, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will be given before this board is to the best of your knowledge and accurate and truthful presentation of the facts? If so, say I do.
I do.
Now in turn, please state your name and relationship to the case for the tape recorder voice recognition.
I'm Brian Romko, a property owner of 1917 Whispering Wood Drive.
Thomas Decker, 1043 River Run, guy.
Okay. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with the provision of the Ohio Sunshine Law. The notice of the hearing was duly published in the newspaper of general circulation in the city of Macedonia. The notice is available for review upon request at the building department. The rules of the board require affirmative vote of 3 members in order to pass regardless of number of members present at the hearing. The hearing is conducted in an informal manner to review the evidence and to respond to questions. However, there is an outline of steps that will be taken in order. The applicant does not have to be present for the board to hear the case is publicized. Each case number and appeal request will be announced as it turns arrives. The first case number this evening will be case 673, and the appeal forum is in order. Rachel, is there any correspondence from notified adjacent property owners?
Yes.
Would you please state them, please?
Yep. Do you want us to read them at this time?
Yeah, we might as well because we have to read it, correct?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay. Do you want to do?
Go first.
Yeah.
This letter is from Terry Repack. It was sent May 2nd, 2022, sent to me, Chris Hall, copied to Rachel Gambatees, subject May 18th, 2022 BZA meeting. It says, "Hi Chris, I noticed that in the May 18th, 2022 BZA meeting, the property at 917 Whispering Woods will be discussed. The memo you wrote on April 22nd, 2022 references a previous BZA meeting on November 19th, 2019, in which a 30-foot variance was granted. If my memory serves me, and at my age it sometimes doesn't, the property shape and size presented in the 2019 was considerably different than what was presented today. I also recall that the 2 or 3 property surveys presented did not all agree on the size and shape of the property the original variance was granted for. I also believe that in the original proposal, a variance was technically not required since the ravine at the rear of the property was of sufficient distance from the right-of-way to allow a roughly 75-foot rear yard from the structure presented without any setback variance. The statement requesting the variance then said the owner wanted a larger rear yard. Despite my no vote, the variance was granted. Since I am requesting this email be entered into the record at the 5/18/22 meeting, I would like to repeat my objection to the variance on the simple grounds that the proponent's letter gives no legal justification for the variance since it is based on the actions of the proponent designing a building that is too large for the lot and creating a lot that is probably unbuildable without a variance. Had the lot presented in 2019 been maintained, this variance would still be unnecessary. I am requesting that the discrepancies between now and the 2019 BZA meeting be explained by the proponent and addressed by the BZA. Thank you, Terry Repack.
The next is an email from Jason Roberts directed to the building department. It says, I am writing to oppose the requested variance for 917 Whispering Woods Drive that will be considered by the Board of Zoning Appeals. As a 14-year resident of Lake Forest Estates and a Whispering Woods Drive resident, I am asking that you vote against an exception to the 70-foot setback. The rationale for the 70-foot setback was to maintain a consistent appearance of the homes on our street. While I appreciate the desire of the builder and prospective buyers to want more land for a backyard, permitting the variance on such a prominent property in our neighborhood would detrimentally affect the aesthetics of our neighborhood. It goes against the consistency of the entire row of houses on that side of the street. The property in question is the first house on the north side of the street at the entrance to Lake Forest Estates. It would look out of place if you permit this setback. While I am aware that similar exceptions have been made to setbacks in our neighborhood, never has it been for such a prominent property. The house that goes on this lot in many ways defines our street and our neighborhood. We need to approach variances with this attitude. In addition, the City of Macedonia and the original developer were both aware that several properties would not have much space for backyards when they originally approved the plat map for our neighborhood. Over 200 homes have had to abide by this zoning requirement. There are several homes that have no backyard or their backyard is a protected nature preserve. I believe this should be the same for 917 Whispering Woods Drive. Thank you for your time. The third is an email from the Lake Forest Estates HOA Board directed to the Building Department and the Board of Zoning Appeals. It says, this message is to inform the Zoning Board of Appeals that we, the Board of Lake Forest Estates Homeowners Association, have assembled, reviewed, and given necessary consideration to the appeal of the setback variance for the subject property 917 Whispering Woods Drive. To quote one of many residents in our community, Jason Roberts, who felt it prudent himself to formally write to Ms. Gambatis, while I appreciate the desire of the builder and prospective buyers to want more land for a backyard, permitting the variance on such a prominent property in our neighborhood would detrimentally affect the aesthetics of our neighborhood. Though our board is comprised entirely of Lake Forest Estates homeowners who share in the opinion of Mr. Roberts, we also bear the responsibility to our community in giving unbiased consideration to the request of both current and future homeowners. To that end, the board has met, reviewed the builder's notes, plat map, proposed setback, as well as a myriad of correspondence predating the current request, and it is the unanimous opinion and vote of the Lake Forest Estates Board that we reject the proposed setback variance.
Thank you, Rachel. Is there any unsolicited correspondence regarding this case?
No.
Will the zoning inspector now please state the city's position?
The Board of Zoning and Building Code Appeals will hear a request for a variance at 917 Whispering Woods Drive. The variance request is to section 1163.02C1. The minimum setback line for any building or structure erected upon a lot shall be 100 feet from the center line of the road or street. The applicant is requesting a variance of 30 feet to have a building setback of 70 feet.
Does any of the board members have any questions?
Yeah, actually.
I just had a quick question for the city. Do we know who PFR Land Company is? I was confused by it.
Say that again?
We have a letter from PFR Land Company. Do you know who that is?
That's,
So I saw a letter from the builder.
LDA Builders.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I don't know who PFR is. I was just confused.
It's the developer, Zepka, Peter Zepka is the name of his development company.
Are you going to speak on any behalf tonight, on anything? You need to sign in, please.
Swear.
And you weren't sworn in either.
Right.
Sign in and I'll swear you in.
Thank you. That was it.
So my question is, it was my understanding that, especially like over in the development where Target is and stuff, and Giant Eagle and all that.
Did you speak up?
Oh, yes. I wanted to know what our responsibility is if the homeowners association is against it. Because do they have the first right to, what is their role in this? I mean, they're saying they don't want it. So it was my understanding, like with where we were at Giant Eagle and Target, we have to get other permissions they have to go to before they can come to us for permission. So how does the homeowners association play? Because almost every variance that I've ever seen, the homeowners association is in favor of it. This is the first one that I can ever remember that they're against it. Do they have any legal recourse or?
I can say that I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
Mark's not here, okay? Even though the homeowners association is still in the city of Macedonia is the way I'm looking at it, okay? And they do have to come for variances to the board. And they have to go to the planning commission. It doesn't matter whether they have a homeowners association or not, but they have to comply with all of the rules and regulations of the city. Is how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer either, okay?
No, I get it. I'm just trying to
Okay.
see what their role in this is, because they come at the beginning to say that they're against it, and we usually don't get cases
Right.
if the homeowners association is against
Well,
something.
their rules and regulations basically are
So I wonder if they have a rule or a regulation specifically stating that the home has to, or are they just abiding by the city's regulation?
I asked the building official the same question, and he said that basically anyone can apply for a variance.
Okay.
And that was all he said. And he also said, not a lawyer.
No, I get it,
So-
but I need to ask the question because, like I
It's a
said,
good question.
we haven't run into that before.
right.
Sure.
But I still go back to the point that it doesn't matter whether you have a homeowners association, okay, with 3 houses or 300 homes, you still have to go through the city. I would have to say for all your variances and everything through planning and the building BZA board.
No, I get it.
You know?
Your question is if they say they're rejecting it and we hypothetically said yes, what authority does the HOA have
Right,
to enforce it?
right. And
That would probably be between the homeowner association and the homeowner. I don't think it would be
And
with the
usually we
city.
won't visit the situation until we know that approvals come through.
I know in our codified ordinances, we don't have anything that says we have to get HOA approval before we issue permits or, go to the Board of Zoning.
Okay,
that's
that
the
answers,
answer.
that answers sufficiently, so that our decision is independent of theirs. That it's just an opinion they have. Okay, that's my take.
Good,
Thank you.
we tried. The board will now allow the presentation from the appellate, so if you would like to speak on behalf.
I think we're gonna have me talk. You need to swear me in.
Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will be giving before this board is the best of your knowledge and accurate and truthful presentation of the facts? If so, say I do.
I do.
Please state your name for the voice recorder recognition.
Tony Lenardi, president and owner of LDA Builders.
Okay. And who would like to start?
You could come on.
Come on up here, bring a chair up.
Come on up. It's
And come on
a lot
up.
easier to.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I did print some stuff I want to give you guys.
You can move up, sir.
Come on, there you go. This way you can hear.
What I did was I sketched the house on the aerial shot there.
These both the same shots?
And actually,
That's perfect.
Thank you.
That's even better yet.
I made 6 of them. I didn't know how many people were going to be.
Okay.
But, one thing I want to point out right off the get-go is in the homeowners association, in that letter they sent, made me think of this, but the city's code is you gotta be 100 feet from the center of the road, right?
Correct.
If you look at page 2, or that front page, the road there at Valley View Road where it comes in is actually 80 feet wide road right away.
Correct.
Then it narrows down to 60.
Mm-hmm.
So when they platted the development, if you go to,
Here's the old one, original.
right,
So this is what you're talking about here.
yeah,
Right.
but see, it's, the road, see how these yellow lines widen out? This is 80 foot wide, and this is 60 foot wide.
Here's where they go from here. From the center line is 30 feet and then 70 feet from there.
Yeah, but the center over here in front of the slot right here is actually 40 feet back from the front.
This is the web map, okay, that they had on file when they first put these plot through, am I correct?
That's just the Summit County GIS and measuring from the center line of the road.
I'm not sure what this green line is. It's because there's 2 sections of the road, there's like a road here and a road there. But if you look at the plat map for the development here,
Mm-hmm.
it's wider here, and this is actually the center line, right? So this is 80 foot wide, and this is 60 foot wide. So this being 70 is really 110 from the center line of the road. The way they platted this under development, it's 110 feet back. If we were to build it per this platted drawing for the development.
Where's this drawing from?
This is the developer's drawing when they got the development.
Originally?
Yeah.
Way back when they put it in?
Yeah, yeah, this is,
I mean, this doesn't even show an island, okay? This is two-way in and out on this side,
yeah, it doesn't, this.
okay? Which you got a turning lane, and you have both right and left, and this is a single lane on this, according to this. You did see this, correct?
We talked extensively about this.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I mean,
you're ahead of the game then.
Yeah.
the flat drawing just shows like the city road right-of-way area and the individual lots and the sublot numbers. So this drawing is these yellow lines. It doesn't show any city sidewalks or islands or road pavement. The pavement's actually narrower, down the middle. So, it's not 60 foot wide. So,
So we have sidewalks on here.
yeah.
Okay, so everything's, this is more detailed, it seems like, than this is. This is just your drawing, okay, or their drawing originally, but here's what you have right there.
Yeah, if you look at that first drawing, then,
And this is exactly what we have here.
yeah.
Theoretically, it doesn't.
But the center of the roadway is the center down here, not each individual road. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Can we ask the city, is that,
We did last time.
okay, well, half of us weren't here last time.
Yeah.
right.
So my point, I just noticed that, because technically, like if you look at the lot right next door, and again, this is a recorded document here, the plat of the development, this is what's recorded at the courthouse, is the plat. I mean, I got the bigger version if you want to see it, but see, they're actually 110 feet from the road, center of the road. So I'm just saying, it's already 110.
So you have 70 plus your
realistically,
30 is 100.
Plus 70 plus 40. Because right in front of here, it's 40.
Well, you're saying it's 40, so that'd be 110.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 70 and 30, which is 100.
Yeah, but that's not, then you can't go by that, because that's just the overview picture. This yellow line's not even in the right place. You know, it's, you see how this sidewalk's back here? They're aerial shots from way up in outer space, and they're not that accurate, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so go ahead, go forward. Do you have a question?
I was just gonna ask, are you suggesting the variance is not even required?
No, I'm just saying that instead of 30 feet, technically, we really only need to be 20, because we're gonna be 80 feet from the center line of the road when we're said and done. So if you look at this sketch.
That's what you're saying is 80 feet from the center, your center of the road versus our center of the road.
Correct.
Okay, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I also want to make note that the variance that was approved for the 30 foot, okay, is expired too. So
Yeah,
that's
we know.
done, so you're down.
We know that.
Okay, I just want to put that on record, okay? So anyhow, go ahead, we'll let you finish.
Okay, so if you measure from the center of the road to the front of the garage, we're gonna actually be 80 feet. Because the drives come in over here, okay? So if you go from the center.
Here's the drive here, right?
Correct, yeah. Which this is just a blow up of that.
Mhm.
What I did is I wrote out here. So if you see, like, this is the center line. So if you go back 80 feet is where we're gonna be. And then the house is actually gonna be about 92 feet back. Because it's set, the main body of the house is set back 12 feet from the garage. I wanted to bring that up too, that, you know, so if you guys were to approve this variance at 30 feet back, we're technically, when we're all said and done, we're gonna be 80 feet to the garage and 92 feet to the front of the house. What I'm saying, so it's not as bad as.
This
it
here
sounds.
30 foot here. What's that 30 foot there?
That's like half of Valley View.
Okay.
That is.
So
Yeah,
can I, I'm sorry, can I ask a question? So do we have anything in the ordinances about meetings or?
No.
Okay. So the center line of the road can be defined up to interpretation by the board?
I think when you look at the existing homes, and you go from the sidewalk back, I believe they're at 70 feet from like the right-of-way back.
yeah.
That doesn't show like the existing, so I'm not sure what adjacent property owners, are they 70 feet from the sidewalk back to the start of the front of
Well,
the?
they vary because some
Correct.
areas, and I'll give you an example here. If you look at this is the old flat map of phase 3, the development. So if they have 70, the code is 100 feet from the center of the road. So if the road's 60 foot wide, you're taking half the road 30 foot and then you're going another 70 to get to your 100. But over here on Brooks Circle, for example, this road right away is only 50 foot wide. So these houses are actually 75 feet back because you're taking half the road and going another.
But this was all done at the original planning commission, okay? This was all figured out at that time, okay? You know, this is great, I understand where you're going with this, okay? But this lot is an exit lot, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, it's your corner lot. This is inside the development, and you're looking at 5 foot difference here versus 30 foot difference, okay?
I know, but I'm just saying the city's code is 100 feet from the middle of the road.
Right.
And this entrance is just considered one roadway right away, not two.
Well, there is 3 roads in there on the entrance and exit. You have
Yeah,
two.
because you got the island.
Correct, plus the island.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of curious, I mean, there's more discussion, I understand that, like I said, we had talked about this the last time. So how does this line up to the homes that are existing and the possible home next to it? How's that all, that I think is, I'd be interested in.
That's more, yeah.
Do you have a home going in right here?
We do not.
How about this one?
Well, that's actually,
that a-
open space for the development.
Okay,
It
so-
can't be built on yet.
Well, I
So
read it,
is this one gonna have the same problem here?
Yes.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's actually gonna.
Be worse?
So I'd say
It's
there's
gonna
quite
be
a
worse,
bit
'cause
of,
if you look at, including in this document, if you go to the page, fourth page I got in there, it shows the grading plan there for the development. If you look at lot 120 next door, you'll see that it's a big drop off here.
Maybe this should all be nature. You know, maybe that should all be whatever you call this one.
I'd like to bring this up also. This was from, I'm trying to see the date on here. Case 610, so this was the old one. This was brought up in November 2019, okay? It was asked about the claimant that there no homes are to be built there, and Mr. Hall replied that, here we go, let me start up here. To clarify with Mr. Hall that there were to discuss lot 119 is right next to lot 120 is empty. Mr. Farley asked about the applicant's claim that there no homes are to be built there. And Mr. Hall replied that he insured because of the conservation assessment. So would you tell Ms. Metzel that there may be a house there, but I mean, I'm reading that there should be no house built there.
I think what he's saying is there's no house on this lot, but there could be on this one.
Yeah, this is 119, right? In question, where's 120 here?
Well, 120 is right next door to this lot.
This one here, right?
No, right here.
No,
This
no.
one right here.
Oh, here, I'm sorry, you're right, thank you.
This is part of
Okay,
it.
so what I'm reading here, am I reading it right, that there's no house gonna be built on 120? They insured the building
I
inspector?
don't own that lot. It's owned by somebody else.
This was you,
But
right?
all I can tell you is it's a building lot, and if they could figure out a way of building a house there and meet the code requirements, then it's a.
Yeah, I don't know if it can be
Well,
built or
just
not.
reading, this is the minutes, correct? The last meeting?
I would assume, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I showed you before.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
I was-
but,
go ahead.
yeah, we're just dealing with the corner lot though.
I understand, but I just wanna make it in the record that it was said that they're not being built.
right.
Sue's question was, is it's gonna be the same problem? Well, it shouldn't be the same problem because they're not supposed to be building there. But go ahead, if it
But
is,
they have the opportunity to.
Someone else does, not you.
not them.
Not
This
this.
is.
Okay, so go ahead, Ken. I'm
Well,
sorry.
But there is a, what I'm trying to figure out is the concern that we heard about this being so close to the setback, or the uncomfortableness of including the homeowners association, where there seems to be quite a bit of space between this property and the line of homes as you go further
Yeah.
into the development,
Yeah.
and that they actually, the street and everything moves south, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
where that concern is coming from, other than the home, I'm a little confused at that part. So I'm just wondering, so as you,
Yeah, if you look at this big lot drawing here, you see these are the two lots, lot 119 and 120, and then you got all this open space here that can never be built on, because it's a big ravine, that can't be built on. And then you have the two homes here, and you have another open space, and then you got the rest of the houses. So yeah, all these houses starting here down, are 70 foot back.
Can I see that, please?
Let me ask that, I mean, I know you were here at the meeting that this went all down, but when this was all put together, brought to the city planning commission, I mean, the builders, which was Repepka, okay, knew that there was lots that were kind of undesirable or not building. Okay, so I figured that he probably did the same as he did in his other developments and sold them cheaper than he did the other ones also too, which that's great, okay? But my point is if there's lots that were really kind of tough to be built on, okay,
No, yeah,
Well, I think that a lot of people in this development that live there already are worried about the appearance of how that's gonna look, because it is right at the entrance. And that's one of the problems, because, you know, if you ever go along South Bedford, somehow somebody let one of those houses be built forward and all the other ones are set back. And that house stands out terribly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how it got built like that, but I don't want to be part of something that is going to stand out and sort of ruin the development for all these people that, you know, these are expensive houses, and I'm not sure that, well, that's what I'm thinking, is that possibly it's unbuildable for, you know.
And also looking at your drawing here, okay, I mean, this is, we all have in front of us. I mean, look at the house across where it's the location of this house.
Yeah, that house is actually closer than 70 feet. That's the side of the house. And I was gonna mention that too, but if you look at the plat drawing, it shows that house is actually 40 feet back.
Which is the side of the house you said?
I said this is the side of the house.
Well, technically, aren't those both fronts of the house theoretically for the?
When we think because it's a corner.
Right, corner lots,
So,
that's correct.
I don't know for building.
What's that?
I don't know for building. For fences and other
Oh,
things
for
that we consider, it's two fronts.
Well,
There has to be a front to the
Chris,
building.
Pardon?
when we consider fences, we consider a corner lot to be two fronts of the house. Do we also consider that for setbacks as well?
No, it's 40 feet is a side yard setback.
Okay.
And that's probably what most of them are.
If you look at all these corner lots, that says 40 foot.
Okay.
So this house, I know, and again, it appears to be further back, but that's because this aerial isn't accurate.
How is it inaccurate?
Well, if you look at these shots are taken from way up in outer space, and the yellow line, see how this yellow line is right up against the road here, and the yellow line's way back here? That's because it's off. The road is actually this way a little bit.
Are you saying they're taking the photo from a different angle?
No.
Because if they take it from aerial, then there's no way it's inaccurate unless they change the road, right?
Well,
Is it
these are
close?
satellite
They're
properties.
just
Right, but
satellite
it's-
pictures, so they're not 100% perfect. That's what I'm saying.
But unless it's taken from a different angle, there's no way that the photo is inaccurate, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, the
Just
photo,
purely from
the
physics,
well, I mean,
right?
the photo is accurate, but this overlay that the county puts on here with the
Okay, so the
boundary-
yellow lines you're saying.
See how this boundary line here?
Yes, yes.
The driveway's over the property line.
Okay, so you're saying the
That's
yellow
not
lines
what-
are inaccurate, not the actual.
Yeah, all right, yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Got it, I got it.
Correct.
I was like, the picture can't be inaccurate if it's a picture.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So I have another question. So one of the comments was that you could make a smaller house or something. I know there's regulations because I almost built in this neighborhood. So how does the proposed home compare to the other homes that are already built there as far as size and everything else?
Yeah, that's, the minimum requirement for the development is 2,500 square feet, and ours is gonna be about 28, a little more than 2,800 square feet. So it is a little bigger than what's required.
Is it two-car garage?
It's
Or
just a
three?
two-car.
Two.
The house is only 54 feet wide,
Okay.
and as we go back, the lot actually gets narrower as you go back. So what happens is if we do have to push it back 30 feet, it won't fit between the 10-foot side yard setback and the 40-foot setback off the Valley View Road. It gets narrow. We'd have to shrink the house down by about a foot.
Even if you did shrink it down and push it back, are there topographical reasons why you wouldn't be able to do that? Sorry.
No,
No,
well,
but you're going where I'm going.
That's
you
what I'm
get, we're getting over to where it starts to slope off, and then yes, you know, I mean.
So the house would only have to be sized down 1 foot?
I'm guesstimating that. It might be more, it might be 2 feet. The surveyor would have to figure that out for us.
To put it where it's supposed to be.
If you
Right,
were to
is that
put
what
it
we're
at
talking
the
about?
70 foot.
Yeah.
What they're calling 70 foot back, which I think is 110 for the center of the road.
And that would still be buildable from a topographical standpoint, or?
Anything is buildable, but
Well-
it's gonna cost a lot more money to do it that way.
Okay, that's where I was going,
And
because,
the biggest hardship for these guys is the fact they bought this lot with the impression that there was an approved variance and that we were gonna be able to build the house at 40-foot back, because we did not know it was expiring. Nobody told us it was gonna expire. So they went to the bank, got their financing.
Do you build in Macedonia?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I never had, I was never involved in a variance like this before.
I mean, if you build here,
Yeah.
you're bonded, correct, and you know what's going on.
Yeah, well, I don't, with variances, I don't know, 'cause I don't, so their biggest hardship is they're gonna have to pay about $4,500 more out of pocket, because they already got their loan in place. They're gonna have to pay to have the house plans redrawn, the site plan redrawn, so it's gonna cost them, quite a bit of money. And and again, because they were under the impression that the variance was still good. Most communities, once they grant a variance, it's good for life. I think Macedonia is one of the few communities.
Well, and I probably shouldn't speak on this, but the variance was to build and do it, so it wasn't enacted upon. Once it was enacted upon, then it's good for the life of the property. But every single one of these has been good for a year since I've been here. It's just the way we do it. So when was the property purchased, if you don't mind me asking?
So the property, we put the bid in and accepted at the end of October, so before the variance was actually expired.
In 2019, 2020?
2021.
2021.
Last year.
Yeah, it was like a few weeks.
Who did you purchase property from?
It was the Jewish Federation community. They own actually both 119 and 120 as well.
So
They didn't make you aware of any, I'm sorry.
No, you, go
They
ahead.
didn't make you aware of any thing that they had a variance, which.
I don't think they were actually aware of
Talk about that and
or
what
not.
that meant, or, no?
No, they were not aware of it. It was talking with Tony. I can't remember who you talked to at the city. I can't remember what her name was in the email, but she came up and said there's already variance for the lot. Once I was aware there was a variance for the lot, and we could put the house in that location, that's when I went forward with actually putting a bid on the property for it. With my understanding, knowing that we were going to be able to put the house a little bit further away from the hill.
Well, somebody came in for those variances on that property.
But this letter is from 2019.
Correct.
So that was long gone.
Right.
When,
Is it 24 months? So we also actually found out talking to somebody that variance lasts for 24 months.
Yeah, it's good for 2 years, right?
1 year,
I thought it was 12
we
months.
thought it was 12 months.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
I think Bob wrote it.
Can I see this for a minute?
Sure
I'm
can.
pretty sure it's 1, but we could check with Bob. I mean, you know for a fact it's 1 year, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't matter, it's expired 1 year.
That's
or 2 years.
absolutely right. Let's go back to what we're doing here.
So my question, you mentioned the additional costs to do the redrawing and all that. Have you figured out what the additional cost would be to build on the slope
No,
back farther?
I've not told that, figured that. No.
Okay, but in your estimate, it would be above and beyond the redrawing? It wouldn't just be a...
Yeah, it would be quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know for sure because we don't know because there's a drop off there and slopes down and there's a lot
Yeah,
of.
but I mean, would you have to redo that slope, okay? Or if you have everything redone for $4,500, let's say, okay? That shows you everything, the house is a little bit smaller, a foot smaller, so you don't have to change anything except just where the location is, correct?
No, the $4,500 is just for the additional driveway and utility, underground utilities that we gotta run back to the house. So once we get back to the slope, then we gotta dig a deeper foundation to get to good ground to support the house, and then we're gonna have cost there, which
That's not
that could be
included in
10
the
grand, I don't know.
Okay.
No, and then they're not gonna really have,
Do you have any other lot that you can sell these people that's, would fit their house and things? Is there another open lot?
Well,
If
So
they
you
could
guys
be
have taken
moved
possession
to?
of the lot?
Correct, yeah.
yeah, so that's a moot point, I think, right?
What's
No?
that?
I'm just asking him.
Personally, no, we sold all our lots.
So there's no open lots in this whole
There's a
Whispering
couple
Woods?
other lots left in this development that are owned by the Jewish Federation, and I think PFR Land might have one or two, but they're all similar lots to this where you got drop-offs and issues,
Are they better or worse than this one?
probably worse.
Worse?
And legally, they've
Yeah.
taken ownership of the lot, so there's, at
Yeah,
this
they
point,
own it already and, you know, they can't.
So it's
Have
just,
you gone back to the organization and talked to them about this?
I had not.
No, I'm not sure what input they have on that, honestly.
Yeah.
The one point I do want to add as well is that with the bank I work with for the fundings for the house, that if I don't finish building the house within 12 months, they'll start going to more of a delinquency state and they can actually pull the funds if we don't finish or show our plan. So any kind of delays at this point might affect building the house.
We understand that. Yes.
Mhm. Yep, we gotta go like this because, we got people that don't want, they think that'll, not be a pleasant sight for whatever, entrance. And then we have you guys, and we do feel your pain.
yeah.
We do,
Right.
we feel your pain.
Well, I just about built in there, and I found out the day before I was supposed to sign that there was a 100-year floodplain halfway through the property.
Really? Wow. Remember what lot number it was?
Somebody built on it, but I think it wouldn't meet my needs, and it was a nightmare because I was chased because I refused to sign the paperwork.
When you,
Take the sale.
when you talk to the homeowners association, what kind of
Have you-
response besides our letter that we had here? I mean, as a builder, you're the builder.
We have not talked to them because the developer has the authority to approve the house plans. So the HOA, the homeowners association, they have no say-so in the house getting approved. So like
See, that's
I
right.
said, it's just their opinion.
And when I
And
never-
technically, it's up to you guys whether or not,
and they didn't have anything to say last time. This is the part I don't understand.
now all of a sudden they do. Yeah.
Well, I can see the entrance and exit, okay?
Yeah.
Making it look
And I-
pretty aesthetic, okay, and the same.
Yeah.
Instead of one side of the street, you're 20 feet away from the road, the other side, you're 50 feet away, just throwing numbers, okay?
I do know this house across the street is closer than 70 feet.
Well, you said 40.
The flat shows 40. I mean, I know it looks further in this drawing or this picture, but it's gotta be closer. It's,
Well,
Is there any lesser amount of a variance that you can still work with? Does it have to be 30 feet? Is there,
anything's gonna be better than nothing. I mean,
I'm still stuck on theoretically, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Theoretically, can you request a 20-foot variance knowing that, I'm still stuck on is the median the center line or is the,
This is where we were last time.
do you remember what the
Yeah,
outcome
we
was?
had
Yeah, but the
one
outcome,
was 15 foot, wasn't it?
yeah, because we had felt that the center was the center of the street, and that was the street. Because it's a road and it's defined as a road, and just because it had one path in and one path out. So if we didn't feel it was, we're getting very technical, but the overall feel was that to have a home on the property rather than a for sale sign was better for the community because then you were building and you were developing and you were moving forward.
Right.
And we're talking, you're still going, there's a variance either way. If you go 20, 30, 25.
Sure.
That the center of the road, and if I remember right, it was because this lot is much farther north, or a little bit farther north than the line of the homes as you go up the street. So it doesn't sit like this one is way real close to the road and the next home is at the line. You really can't tell,
Yeah,
at least the way it was
because the road
presented, that they
bends,
kind of
yeah.
looked like they were in a straight line and the street was the thing that was turning. That's kind of how we got to where we did last time.
So we don't know the difference between the side of this lot and the front of this one, the side of this house and the front of this.
from here to the Valley View and here to Valley View, is that what you're
No,
talking about?
here to Whispering Woods and here to Whispering Woods.
Right, but they're different sides of the property, so I think the thing was you could be 40 foot on the side of your house, is that correct?
Goes to the right-of-way, 40 feet from the right-of-way, not the center line of the road. The front setback is from the center line of the road back.
So the different measurements, different size, different
Right,
everything,
so-
so they're apples and oranges.
But can we compare apples to apples, is what I'm saying. Because aesthetically, if you start looking at measurements just aesthetically, right? Because it doesn't matter legally it matters where the front and the side is, but aesthetically it doesn't matter.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, what's the delta between, the difference between the side yard here and the center line and the front house here and the center line? Or the right of way.
Well, I mean, even
I get it.
You know what I mean? I just don't know what those measurements are right now. I know this is close, but I just don't know what that means.
This one is from the center of the road, it would be 30, you're 30 plus 40, so it's gonna be 70 feet.
Okay.
This one's 110. I don't know why they did that, but.
Okay, I see. Okay.
But one thing I want to bring up is if you look at this picture here, where I drew the house on there, and you look at, when you line that up with this house you see right here, you can see it's actually doesn't appear to be.
That's because the road's
Because the
shorter a
road is
little
curved,
bit.
yeah, because
Right.
the road like gets closer to the house.
On your last
Side,
meeting, there was, Mark kind of mentioned 15 foot instead of the 30 foot variance.
Well, that's what I was asking, how much would it change, how much would it change?
Yeah, the whole point is, are we gonna look at letting the house come forward or not? I mean, you get into the exact footage, we're gonna go crazy. So, part of the discussion, is this gonna be the same, I don't wanna say quality, I don't mean to say come across wrong, but is it gonna, I would think that some of the homeowners might feel that it's not gonna add value to the property. They want the most expensive one in the corner, so it looks the best as you come in and everything,
Yeah, well,
but.
if they want that, they're gonna need to give us more room to put a bigger house.
Right, but
Right now,
the
we
presentation,
almost have to shrink the house down.
but the presentation here is that it's a hardship for cost-wise to add to changing where the location of the home is, so that, if you're gonna say there's a hardship in where the home load, then to build a larger home, then that doesn't make any sense. It's not a hardship if you could go with a bigger home. At least in my mind.
We're not.
I get it.
I
I'm
mean, the
just-
hardship with costing more, that's basically not on us, that's on you. I mean, if this is what you want versus what you could have, that's two different things.
So they might have to, in order to save costs, to pay for this extra 30 feet, they might have to shrink the house down to 2,500 square feet.
Mhm.
You know, and if the homeowners association over there is, that'll be their fault.
This is really, this is really reaching outside the box, but if this lot is really even worse, would it be possible to take part of this lot and add it to this, add 120, part of 120 to 119, and then redesign the house that way?
But
Well, it's not our lot, and we don't.
Right.
It's not your lot, oh, okay.
Somebody's got to pay for it.
I was gonna say, I did try to talk to the Jewish Foundation community about that, but they wouldn't really budge with, give me a discount on lots. They kind of want a high value for both properties, because in their opinion, you could build a house on both things because due to the, some of the drawings where they showed where the houses were supposed to go right on top of the hill.
Yeah, a lot on 120, they're gonna spend a fortune on a foundation there, but somebody will probably be willing to do it someday.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially as you're running out.
The problem I have is the homeowners association doesn't like it, and as Ken said, we really usually have, I think 99% goes the other way.
I've never heard one that they were against it. But that doesn't mean that's,
Right.
like I said, but they never spoke last time. That's the bizarre thing, that they had no problem with us granting it the first time. So.
Are you here with the homeowners association? Do you have anything to say since you've been sworn in and you're?
Yeah, we'd love to get you.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? Sorry.
Well, that's okay, we'll go back and forth, go ahead.
Yeah.
First of all, when you drive into the development on River Run, the houses swing, you look at almost in a straight line. They may be little variants, but you look down the street, they're all in a straight line.
Mhm.
First thing you're gonna pull in, you're gonna see a garage, a wall. Do you wanna spend $600,000 on a house, and the first thing you drive into the development, see a house that doesn't belong? This not, when you look down the street, it's gonna be here, and then the rest of the houses are here. Would you like to see that? You own a $600,000 house? I don't think so. Nobody in their right mind in that development would agree that the variance is, the city says it's 100 feet, it's 100 feet. You know, next guy comes, well, I need this and I need this, because there's extra lots now to be built. They're gonna have houses in and out of the way. Doesn't make any sense. That's not common sense. Fill in the ravine. They're building every place in Macedonia, you can get free dirt delivered.
Well,
Right.
The problem is you gotta have a foundation with footers on solid ground. You can't build on filters.
Well, put the house as far as back as you can on solid ground and fill it back in.
I know,
That's why we're trying to work.
but the road does it, I'm saying, I did that on purpose, okay?
So, you know, they have
So-
things
so
to
are
do
you-
with the solid ground.
So are you saying that the homeowners association is comfortable with the style of the home?
We didn't know what the style of home is, we didn't have a picture, just a build a house.
But you just said that if you turned in and saw a garage, I mean,
Well-
I'm not sure how that has to do with.
All right, the garage is gonna be the first thing you're gonna drive in, right? When you come down the street, drive in the garage, okay?
You're going past the island, and you're driving in.
Yeah, but what's the
Okay.
first thing you're gonna see?
You're gonna see the house is what you're gonna see. The garage only sticks out 12 feet in front of the house, which that's.
But a well-manicured front, I
Compared to all
mean,
homes in there.
I'm just trying to determine if you're uncomfortable with the design of the home.
I haven't seen the design.
That's up there,
Isn't this the garage of this house across the street?
yeah.
So when you drive in here, as you're saying, this is their garage, so their garage would be here.
Yeah, but you're gonna see this side of the house closer to the street. This side. When you drive in, you're gonna see this side of the house, 30 feet closer.
No, that side's on, faces Valley View. You're gonna see this 30.
You're still gonna see 30 feet in. You're gonna be driving down the street, this house is here, and the rest of the houses are here. Now you tell me.
No, looking at this here, it's
There's
not
not
that
gonna be any
far.
properties here, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna go down to,
Yeah.
look at this picture.
Yeah, I
You
like
have an
that
what we're
extra
looking
one of
at.
these?
picture,
No,
it's a good one.
I want him to see.
Well, this is
See this?
what Matt just showed me
Here's
too.
where
If you
the
come
house,
across here,
and then here's
here's
the
your
next
house.
house, and these
so
are
it's
not,
not that bad because it
we don't
goes,
know what's gonna happen
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
And this
there's nothing
is
planned
free space, or whatever you call it, nature preserve. Does this look like it's gonna be real different?
Yeah.
Yeah?
draw a line down there.
You'll see.
Grab my thing and put it down there.
Okay,
There you go. Where the house is and the other house. And the road's going crooked, so
You can see that. That's that house.
well, I'm just trying
It's
to,
tough for me to see the difference.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm trying to just figure it out.
I'd also like to point out too that if you're like viewing the house from Valley View Road, if you look inside like picture, the HOA has all these trees already planted here, so it kind of hides the house in a way as well. So from a electric farm perspective, you're going to be seeing the trees more than the house.
yeah, on
On
the
Valley
corner.
View, yeah.
The pine trees that are planted on the corner.
Correct.
I think that's staying with the homeowners association in there.
That's part of the, that's, nature preserve.
Where the pine trees
No,
are on
he's
the corner.
talking about the pine trees on the
On the
corner.
Valley View.
That-
By the stone.
By the-
sign.
Those were put in
By the
as
sign,
part of the nature preserve. We had to get permission to put those trees in.
So that's not part of the
these
property?
trees.
Well,
It better not be, because that's part of
It looks like it's
It
part
looks
of
like part of the property
Yeah,
green.
there's no,
No, but there's
on the back of the lot,
in
there's
this
another side
development
here.
here, they get into some of those too. So
Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, we've heard, do you have anything else from the homeowners association? And I take it you're the voice of the homeowners association?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, not, just that there was 5 other variances granted for setbacks, you know.
We take each
10,
case.
15 feet in that development.
Okay.
I think 3 or 4 of them were right there on Whispering Woods, but they
Yeah.
were down further.
they're almost at the end.
Yeah,
Down.
everybody has their own,
You know,
yeah,
the-
reasoning.
The houses on the cul-de-sacs are all 50 foot back. You know, I mean,
Those are
they
cul-de-sacs.
vary, they vary.
Yeah.
You know, like I showed you on Brooks Circle here, they're 75 feet back, so they're not all the same throughout the development.
Is it,
And the other question, go ahead, Matt.
were these variances for the other
Yeah,
properties
yeah.
in the, okay. You have these,
Yeah, we have
It's all
those. Yeah,
It's in the-
we know.
it's all 10-15. Back to the question about if you fill that ravine. I mean,
Well,
then there's
yeah.
no problem with the 100-foot
Well,
setback, right?
No, the house just has to be narrower, you know, made smaller in order to fit. The cost is not so much of, well, A, you're gonna have a cost of a deeper foundation to get to good ground. And then B, now you're gonna add more cost than hauling dirt in, because trucking dirt ain't cheap, especially right now, fuel the way it is.
so, I just, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that was,
So I was just gonna say, so, this might all come down to what we define as practical difficulty, right, in terms of the cost. And so I just did some quick math, and I apologize if any of this is incorrect, just based on what I heard. So I heard rough estimate of houses in the neighborhood is about 600. I heard about 5,000 to change the design of the house, and I heard about 10,000 rough estimates, just rough. I'm an engineer, so excuse my math. So I heard about 10 grand for the changing the grade of the property. So that comes out to be about 2.5% of the value of the home. Not saying one thing or another, I'm just throwing it out there just to put numbers to it, just so you can have context around it. Am I incorrect in any of those high-level assumptions?
your percentage is probably a little higher because this house is at $600,000. It's gonna be, I don't know what you guys paid for the lot, but,
Should I disclose that here, or does it matter anything, or?
but the house is 340 and whatever you paid for the lot, is probably about another 100, so it's gonna be more like 440.
So the percentage is great, so, okay.
Percentage is great.
I didn't mean to get into any sensitive, I'm trying to just put a context around it as we define what's practical difficulty, so that's all.
That's good.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have one question is there any number that that you'd be comfortable with, or you're just sticking with
This
the?
corner lot, it has to be,
So no?
No.
Okay.
I guess, sorry, can I just add one last thing from my perspective?
Sure.
So, I mean, I've been looking at these properties here since last August, and I've looked at just about every single one that's available here. I've come to the conclusion this was the easier to build lot, because there was a way to get a house into a flat surface. I've been to a lot numerous times, go around the neighborhoods, I've walked around, I know people see me there. I even sent some messages to the HOA a few times as well, just asking questions about the trees and some other things. And nobody really inquired me that this was going to be a problem with the setback. Like, I feel like this came up 2 years ago and it was a problem that maybe at some point I should have been notified by somebody. I'm just a little shocked because it wasn't like I've done this in the past few weeks. It's been like 8+ months now of researching, trying to get this going.
But you weren't the property owner at the original?
No, I was not, but I definitely made it clear what property I was looking at, and they asked some questions about that, and I thought
To
that...
the person that owned the property?
No, I did talk to HOA, actually. I sent emails through their web portal.
Oh, okay.
question, did you talk to LDA before you bought the lot?
Yes, I was working with LDA for a few months. I talked to the HOAs for a few months here, and that was, again, when we got the email.
Looked into seeing if it was buildable, not throw $100,000 whatever you threw away for a piece of land, you can't build on it.
So I guess why is it still available property is my question still.
That's the reason, is number one.
Well, then anybody can sell anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can build anything on just about anything, so we understand that point. If this was 2 years ago and you purchased it and the variance was still in effect, you'd have built this house. is what you're telling us too.
Yeah, we didn't know it was gonna expire.
Well, we can't, that is not on us. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, you're the builder.
I just wonder if the other,
We did inquire about that, and nobody told us.
You see, nobody that wasn't the city, I don't think.
Wow.
Okay, because I know if you'd call the office, one of these two would have gave you an answer right quick, or Bob, that's all.
because unfortunately, we've run into a couple times where they've expired and
Right.
it gets more of a challenge because some of the conditions are different or board numbers.
All right, anything else from the board? I don't like personally myself, the 30-foot is a little bit much. I mean, I would be more apt to go to one of these numbers that we've already, or the previous boards, okay, already have approved.
But you can't, those are not,
They're not even around this property though.
it's
They're
completely
way
different.
down at the other end.
I understand.
Those lots drop off considerably. I mean, there's no backyard.
I do have another question regarding that. So, this image right here, or the drawing from '04, I think it said, but something. I read
Yeah,
04.
probably 04's.
September 04. Says 70-foot setback right here. This was the original plan, right?
That's the original plat.
What
That's
is-
the platted
What is
drawing.
different from the original? If you could draw, just so we can see on an actual drawing with the other houses, because this one,
You mean what we're proposing?
yes.
Well, it would just be, this is 70 now, so it would probably be, right up and about here somewhere,
Okay, 70 versus,
40.
Okay.
If we were to come 30 feet
okay,
forward. Yeah.
yep, got it.
But this house at 70 feet, it's already 10 feet further back than this lot if they were to ever build there.
Because of the road.
They probably did that because of the road, and they designed it. But that 70 is taking it 110 from the center.
Yep, no,
You know,
I understand.
Where this one's 100.
I just wanted to double check
So,
visually looking at this. Okay, thank you.
Maybe.
Can I have one of these back if you guys don't mind? Thank you. You don't need all of those.
Are there any further questions from the board? The chair will entertain a motion for the board in this case.
I make a motion to, sorry. I make a motion to approve case 673 for requested variance of 30 feet to the building setback of 70 feet.
Any seconds?
Second.
Rachel, do a roll call, please.
Mr. Pilato?
No.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Ms. Metzel?
Yes.
Mr. Shelko?
Yes.
The motion has passed for case 673 for the variance of 30 foot.
Go build your house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
You guys have a good evening.
Mhm.
Okay. Need to run on that one.
We have no other old business for this evening. Yeah, if you wanted, you get covered. It's not working.
No, yes, my own problem.
Is there a motion to adjourn this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Good evening. Thank you all.
Thanks.